Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you the weekly DIA report. That is the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, the most active of them, for the week of Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Before I jump into this week's charts on the DIA, just want to encourage you to please click like each and every time you do watch the weekly DIA report. It helps us out a great deal with regard to the search engine results, the search results we get on YouTube when anybody types in DIA or Dow Jones analysis, so forth and so on. And subscribe. Subscribing to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel will provide you notification when any content has been uploaded, which allows you to see it when it's new and fresh and relevant. So without further ado, let's jump to this week's DIA. I'll start with a blank chart and just remind you that a couple of weeks ago, we tested a meaningful resistance area at 369.52 this week, that channel top. And as I mentioned at the time, that once tested, we could fall back within, say, 3 to 5 weeks. That's just a guess to the channel base, presently at 345.51. So that area is in reach. I call it quote unquote attainable. Now, on the way down this week, 355.66 offers decent weekly support. We could bottom out there for the week and head back to that channel top at 369.52. But if we close below 355.66 this week, then 345.51 is likely within just another week or two at the most. And that is a meaningful support structure that can contain selling through February, quite possibly into the second quarter. And from there, we can rally back to the channel top at 369.52. If we were, though, to close below 345.51 at the end of any week, I don't see it happening this week, but you never know what may happen. If we did close below 345.51, we do have a meaningful sell signal, but it's very stair-step on the way down. And I'm not quite sure if we'll get to ultra long-term support or not, but I'll show you that just after 345.51 is 329.94. And I would call this a 2 to 3 week target if we were to close below 345.51 at the end of this week. This could be sort of the head fake to the downside. You've got a meaningful sell signal below 345.51, and then we hit 329.94 possibly the following week, and from there rally through Q2 and beyond to new highs within a matter of several months. Now, if we close below 329.94, then yes, we do test what I consider to be ultra long-term support. That is a channel top we settled above over a year ago, presently at 316.49. So really not until we close below 329.94 am I comfortable anticipating and predicting, if you will, 316.49, that long-term channel top that stands back to the 2009 financial crisis, 2008, 2009 financial crisis, and is a formation that, if tested over the coming months, can absorb not only selling through 2022, but even into later decade. From there, we could push on to new highs and then look back at that as the test that held through the balance of the decade, perhaps. Now let's talk upside. 369.52, still meaningful resistance. Now if we close above it at the end of this week, and I want to see that by a 1% margin always on these longer term meaningful resistance areas, and 1% violation of 369.52 is 373.21, and it just so happens that just above 373.21 we still have this short-term channel top that a couple of weeks ago was converging very nicely with that 369.52 channel top. And so I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, if we close above 369.52, that is an actionable buy signal, especially if it's by the 1% margin of 373.21. But I think it may be worth waiting a settlement above 373.71 before you have a full sort of meaningful buy signal that should result in accelerated upside gains over the following month or two to 396.45. Now that's a full channel extension. I like this in this situation because we've got a lot of consolidative trade over the last year, really almost, better part of 9 months anyway. And so breaking out of that consolidation, which I think would be a final sort of deed if we were to close above 369.52 by a 1% margin. That 396.45 is a realistic target, and we could top out there as the market sort of grows overbought, and that could be into early Q2. That could be sort of a March, April target if we were to close this week above 369.52. That area able to contain monthly buying pressures, possibly into later Q2. But overall, the trend is still bullish long term. There's no really two ways about that, despite the fact that we've had, roughly 9 months of consolidation at the high end of the all-time, high moves. So if we close above 369.52, you may consider the 426.98 channel top, as I don't know if we'd reach that this year or not. We'd need some price acceleration to the upside. I'm just putting it out there as the next significant long-term resistance area. That, is it a target above 369.52? It's difficult to say that. That's a pretty bold statement, certainly swinging for the fences on that one. I will say that if we get up and over 396.45, then yeah, we're probably just 2 to 3 months away from reaching that channel top. In any event, 426.98 able to contain annual buying pressures if or when tested. And I'll just mention this in future DIA reports. If we do close above 369.52, there will be other formations and line studies that I can show that will be near-term targets, mid-term objectives, so forth and so on. This is just big picture analysis, basic, but it is sort of where you begin when you're analyzing any market, in my opinion. You start with the big picture to determine the longer term trends, and you work your way in from there. And so just to sort of reiterate, we've got 369.52 upside, and we've got 345.51 downside, and that is the way I would frame the dynamic through February trade. Both of those areas can hold on a monthly basis, and with regard to 345.51, quite possibly into Q2. I think that is really all that needs to be said for this week's weekly DIA. I appreciate you watching. Please click like each and every time you watch it, and subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. That's all I've got. I'll be back for next week's weekly DIA report.